Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. I just want to be a little bit official today. My name is George, and most of you probably know me already. I'm a CEO and the founder of the agency College Recruit. I see many of you are here as our clients. We've been in business for 13 years. You probably met many of my team in Asia that in all these junior golf tournament, amateur tournaments around the region. So we've been here for 13 years. We help more than 1,500 clients successfully, join the college golf here in US. If you have any dream or pathway you want to play college golf, please contact one of our members when you see them, or you can just check out our information from the website. Okay. But thank you again. And why don't we start with agenda today? So just housekeeping. We like to ask everybody. You can turn off your camera. You can, please turn off your microphone while our guest speaker is speaking and make presentation. We want to hold all the question at the end of the session. We're going to talk about half an hour with our guest, and we leave about 15 minutes for Q&A. Okay. And as for Q&A, I'm going to ask anybody who has a question, raise your hand. I will call your name and you just state your question. Or you can also type in the chat room, and then I will ask the question to our guests from the chat room as well. Okay. So before we introduce our guest speaker today, so I just want to ask my team member, AR team member, turn on their camera and introduce themselves just a little bit so everybody know who you are when you meet them in the audience again in the junior golf in this summer. They know who you are. So we'll start with Miss Jum.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So nice to see everyone in this for webinars. And my name is James. I'm a senior global director. And yeah, nice to meet you all. And please contact if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Dan.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I am Dan, AR advisor. I will be at a Junior World Cup this summer. It's my first time there, so hope to see you guys all over there. And if you have anything for me to support or assist, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss On.
Hello, everyone. I'm Owen. I am an AR consultant and also sales support. So if you have anything, would like to know about the AR information, as well as if you're interested to go study in the US by your talented, you can contact me or anyone in our team. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you. Miss Sarah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Wongson. I played golf for 5 years, and now I joined AR team, and I based in Dallas, Texas. Nice to meet
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning. I think it's only a few of us that say good morning. And anybody else that in here that I'm missing? Miss U? No? If not, why don't we move to the main event? That's the reason why you're here. All right. So yeah, I just want to give you introduction a little bit. That you will have someone who been there, know everything, play college golf, been through junior golf, college golf, and she understand what you guys need in order to help with your development. Okay. So Amy live here in New Jersey. She played 4 year college golf at Yale. And why at Yale, she won many, many tournaments, and she 3 times All-American. That's very hard to say for someone who get All-American 3 times. And oh, I forgot. And during the junior, she also AJGA scholar All American as well. So it's not only the golf ability that she portray. She also have something that a lot of people like to have. Play at Ivy League at 4 years, and then went on to play with one of the top program at Auburn for the fifth year. Okay, why is she doing all those golf thing? And we all know that you are a student athlete. You're able to balance between golf and academics. She started her own company and developing this program. Right, this is the golf stack. Okay, something that will help you know where your game is and where you can develop your game in the future. Okay, so with that, Amy, I just want to thank you again for you to be here today. And why don't I start with first question? Okay, and then that way you can follow through with your presentation. What inspired you to start this program?
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Basically, so as you mentioned, I was a good student in high school and good student in college. And one of the first days of practice, my coach asked us to keep our stats, and I had no idea what she was talking about. It's not something I had ever done before, and I didn't know what to do. But after I did it a few times, I figured out that it was so helpful to actually know your stats because it's like trying to improve if you don't, not having your stats is like trying to improve with no feedback from anyone ever. It's just shooting in the dark. So I was inspired to create this program, Excel Golf, for your stats to make it easier to use for players and coaches and to give you concrete feedback on how you can get better faster.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good.
You want me to pull up my presentation?
Sure, yeah. Let me give you an access. But that's your website. That's you, right? On
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
it's good.
Yep,
How
that's me.
old were you back then?
That was in the Orlando International Amateur. So I'm sure
Mm.
some of you are familiar with that tournament. And I think I was maybe 18 or 19.
Oh, wonderful. Good.
So a
Good,
few
good,
years
good.
ago. But yeah, this is our website, excelgolf.com. You can just Google it and it should be the first link to come up. But the website has all the information. And if you go to the how to tab, that will give you a video on how to use the app, but I'll cover a lot of that information today, and make sure we can answer any questions you have.
Good, good. While you pull up your presentation, what is Excel Golf name came from?
Yeah, so it's we really want you to accelerate the process of getting to better golf. So we want you to start playing better golf faster.
I see. Got it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And the currently who are using this program right now, beside
Yes.
the US National Junior Development Program.
Yep. So our biggest account is definitely the Junior National Development Program for the US, but we have several men's and women's college teams, D1, D2, and D3, and then a lot of high school teams as well, and then several elite junior players across the country. So really all skill levels, the only common factor between all of the players is that they want to get better and they want to play golf at a high level.
Hmm. Good, good, good. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, great. So there's three main components that I want to emphasize for Excel Golf.
Amy, yeah, your presentation is not there yet.
Oh, let's see. Let me retry. Can you
There
see
we
it now?
go. Yep.
Okay,
Good, good.
perfect. So there's three main components of Excel Golf that I want to emphasize. First is being able to record your golf shot data neatly. So a lot of other stats applications, it's very messy, it's very time consuming, and it's distracting to players. For us at Excel Golf, we want to make that process of just writing your information down easy and clean. Next, we wanted to make sure that entering that data into the app was quick and easy. We don't want you to be sitting there for half an hour after your round, still trying to figure out your stats. We want you to be able to start looking at your stats immediately. And then lastly, all the information we have in the app, we want that to be actionable and easy to read. Like, we don't want you trying to figure out what's going on here, what's going on there, what do I need to practice? We want that to be obvious information that you can start working on right away. Okay, so here's a little outline of the presentation. We'll go over how you record your data, scan it into the app, edit your scan, and then actually looking at the stats. So there's two ways you can record your stats. First is on the piece of paper that you can print out from our website, and I'll show you that on the next screen. The second way is just directly in the app. So if you go in the app, as shown on the right half of the screen, you can pull up the round entry page and then simply put your information in there. It's really whichever you prefer as a player. But what we recommend is going to our website, clicking on the stat card link, and that will bring you to a page that looks like this. And this is the piece of paper that you'll be able to print out and write on while you play your round of golf. So if you just go into the pro shop before you play, or you print a few extra copies when you can, I would recommend just storing a few copies in your bag so that you have it ready to go. But you can always print it on the link on our website. And then when you're playing, again, we want it to be clean, we want it to be neat, we want it to be easy. You can fold it so it fits inside your scorecard or your scorecard holder or on your push card, anything like that. And then the fun part is actually filling out the information. So once you have your stat card, it looks like this. I want to note that at the top, that's where you can write the basic information. So, what's the tournament? What's the date? What course are you playing? That's just for your own reference. We're not going to read any of that data. That's just so you know which round you're playing or you're entering later. And then the legend on the top right. This is going to be key to entering your first couple rounds. So we have two sets of information here. So left, right, and short over. Those are these bubbles on the right side. And those are going to be filled in when you miss a shot. So if you miss a shot, left, right, short, or over, you fill in those bubbles. All of these other letters represent end locations for the shot. So if you hit your ball into the fairway, you're going to write F. If you hit your ball into the rough, you're going to write R. Green, G, S, sand, and so on, I for in the hole. And that's essentially all you're going to need to remember next time you're entering your round of golf. So let's go through an example. So this hole, let's say we're playing, we step up to the tee box, and we look at our scorecard, and we see that it's a par 4. So the first thing we're going to write is 4 in the space where it says next to par. So we write 4, and then again, look at the scorecard, and the distance is 348. Now, it can be in meters or yards. It's whichever one you play, you just have to configure it in settings. But whatever the distance is, you write it in this box here. So this one was 348, so 348. And the location, we can see we hit this ball, and it goes in the fairway. So we can write F for fairway. And then we didn't miss left, right, short, or over, so you don't have to put any of that information. And you didn't get a penalty. This far right column is for a penalty. So next, let's say we walk up to the shot, we shoot the distance, and we get 124. So again, we write 124, and then we hit the shot, and it looks like here we hit the shot on the green. So we write G for green. Now, even though it's on the green, this ball came up a little bit short of our target. So in this case, we're going to fill in the bubble under short for that we missed the shot short. Now, let's say, for example, there was water behind the green and it was downwind and you were trying to be short of the pin. Your target was a little bit short of the pin. In that case, you would not have to fill in the short bubble. So whether you fill in left, right, short, over is up to you as the player. If you think you missed it, put a miss. If you don't think you missed it, then don't put a miss. Okay, so next we're on the green. And in here, we're going to switch units to feet. But again, that's configurable in your account. I just have my account set to yards off the green, feet on the green, but 25 feet. So we write 2-5, and then we hit the putt, and it ends up on the green. So our end location for that shot was green. So we write G. And it looks like we missed this putt a little bit right and a little bit over. So we can fill in both of those bubbles. Finally, we have a 3-foot putt that goes in the hole. So we write 3 and then I for in the hole. I'm going to pause there. Does that make sense? And are there any questions on entering this data while you're playing?
So, Amy, I think one of the things that a lot of I assume that a lot of golfers here, coaches in Asia, they know the importance of keeping stat and the feedback and getting them help better. Why is your data interlink different than other people as of
Yeah,
right now? Before we move on to the next step, because they're probably seen Decade, they're probably seen Applause, they're probably seen many others current application. But why are your data interlink is different than other people?
yeah. So I'll go back to this page. This piece of paper is unique. A lot of the other apps don't have anywhere for you to record the data neatly. So a lot of kids are just scribbling on the side of their scorecard or the side of the pin sheet, and that can be very distracting. Ours is a system so that the players can keep it very clear in their heads. They can know which hole they're on at all times, and it's very easy to keep track of. In addition to that, the way that you enter the round is a lot easier because you can just take a picture of this piece of paper, which no other app on the market can do. So the players aren't having to waste time after their round. They can just write everything down neatly on the piece of paper and then immediately enter it by taking a picture. And that's the main difference.
Yeah, so that's a game changer in terms
Mhm.
of the current platform. And my team member Sarah can probably endorse this, because after you and I talked about a month ago, I asked her, what program that she used, why she played in college, and what was something that she didn't know. Sarah, would you like to share something um, from your experience?
Yeah, I believe we use GolfStat, and it was a pain to collect the data. Like the template wasn't as easy and organized like yours, like on the screen right now. It's a big sheet of 18 holes with a bunch of information, and it's certainly something that I did not do while I play during the round, because it would just, took my focus away from my game, right? So what I had to do was took notes on my yardage book. And then after the tournament, I had to find time to sit down, right? So like, besides my homework time, I had to find time to sit down and actually, put the stats from my yardage book into the golf stat sheets before I submit to coach. And I can tell everybody that almost everybody on my team, no one enjoyed doing it. And so our coach had to set a deadline and as well as penalty for whoever submitted late, because it was not as easy to do it, just like yours.
How long did it normally take you after a round to enter data?
Hour, 2 hour. I mean, and it can be wrong too. Sometimes it give us an error. So we had to like rethink and, recalculate it.
Mm. All right, so an hour or two with your
Mhm.
old, with the current application right now. So how long it's gonna take for player here, Amy, to enter the data?
Yeah, maybe the first time you ever do it, 5 minutes. After
Hmm.
that, 2 minutes.
All
And if you get
right.
it, 1 minute.
Yeah,
That is
okay.
amazing. I wish I had that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. Time is valuable, right? And then you, as student athlete, you have to balance everything. So something that you can't buy a time, but
Mhm.
if your application solve that issue. Well, thank you, Amy. Move on.
Okay. So I'm going to quickly show you an example with a penalty. And I'll just go over the first shot very quickly. So same thing, we're on a par four. So we write four, and then the distance is 415. So 415. But here we see that the ball went in the water. So what we're going to do now is first indicate the miss. So we hit it left. So we write L, or the fill in the bubble under L. And then we got a penalty. So fill in the penalty bubble because we're about to drop the ball. The key here is for the location, you're going to put where you drop the ball because we don't really care if it's in like water or flowers or a parking lot or whatever because you're not hitting it from there. You're hitting it from the rough. So we're going to put R for rough. Then same thing from there, 232 to the hole. You hit it in the sand a little right from that shot. And then 14 yards to the pin, hit it to on the green to about 3 feet. That's a good shot. So I'm not going to say I missed that. I hit a sand shot to about 3 feet and then 3 feet in the hole. That's just a quick example with a penalty. We have more information on that on our website if any of that is confusing. But the main thing is put where you drop the ball, not where you hit it in like the hazard. Okay. I'm going to skip this stat card example. We can come back to it later if there's any more questions on filling out the stat card. Okay, so now for scanning the stat card, this is the exciting part. So to scan it, you're going to have your piece of paper, unfold it, flatten it, make sure, it's not wrinkled up or folded or anything. And then the best practice is to put it on a dark background and try to get rid of shadows. So just in general, good lighting, make it easy to take the picture. And then you'll see on your phone, this screen will pop up so you can see the overlay here. You're just going to line it up with the tables on the piece of paper, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So this, as you see it right here, is fine. It just has to be close so that the app knows what it's looking for. When you're here, you can take the picture and it'll enter it immediately. So here's an example, and this is a recording. So you take the picture, and it got it. It got it. And it's simple as that. And now it's done. It's entered. So I'll play that video again because it went kind of fast, but that's the point. It's very fast. So you click add round and then the camera opens up, line it up, take a picture, and then there you are.
Yeah, that's less than a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, obviously, you have to put the name of the round and if you want to file it somewhere. So that really is the part that takes more time. The scanning part is done very quickly. But here's some tricks again. So I know a few of you will have one or two issues the first time you're scanning, but main thing is make sure it's a dark background, the lighting is good. Sometimes the phone shadow will throw things off. So again, make sure you're not doing it under like a single light bulb. And then all the lines have to be visible. So right here, that scan won't work if you can't see the edge of the box. But if everything is visible and flat and unfolded, it should work. Okay, so we briefly saw the screen when we were entering the round where you have to edit the round data. So sometimes it'll read a letter or a number wrong, and that'll depend on your handwriting. But if anything is read incorrectly, you can fix it in here. So for me, sometimes my threes look like eights or my ones look like sevens, something like that. So these are, minor errors, but you can fix them on this page. And for example, if it sees something like, 950 yards, it's going to say, are you sure that you meant 950 yards? Because we think you meant 150 yards or something like that. So it's going to be user friendly for when you're fixing anything. And you can notice on the piece of paper, there's only enough room for 6 shots. So if you go over 6, you're going to be able to add a shot in the app over here. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over to the app to give a little bit of a live demo. And then I want to point out that there's 2 ways you can access the app. The first is download it from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And the second is go to app.accel-golf.com. And that's going to be the exact same interface as on your phone, but it's just on your computer. The only difference is you have to scan on your phone because of the camera. Okay, so now
let me cut in just one thing I forgot to say. All right, if everyone who joined this webinar, you will get a prize at the end of this seminar. Okay, at the end. So stay until the end. You will get something good that will help you for your future. Okay. All right. Sorry,
yes, no, you're right.
I gotta be
So, okay.
salesman.
This is an example player. This is one of our demo accounts. And basically you can see the the basic summary information here. So score, greens in regulation, birdies, and up and down. And this is great information to have, but we want to dive deeper. This tells a story, but not the full story. So let's look at putting, for example. So if we go into putting, we're going to get a bunch of graphs. We try to keep everything visual so you understand what's going on. So this is strokes gained. And if you need an explanation for strokes gained, you can click the little question mark and it'll tell you what strokes gained means. But right here, we can see that overall, it's around 0, which is pretty good for strokes gained. And on short putts, it's almost 1, which is great. Mid-length putts, it's a little bit lower, and then long putts, it's close to 0. So just based on this graph, we can say, okay, this player is really good at short putts, but they might need to work on their mid-range putts. But overall, this looks like a solid putter. Next, we're going to look at round to round. So this is 3 separate rounds, round 1, round 2, round 3. How did they putt in each round? So we can see the second round was a great round for putting. And the first and the third were kind of similar and not great, but still kind of around 0, which is average. And then finally, this graph is interactive, so you can see what is this player's putting make percentage. So let's say from 0 to 10 feet, they make 83%. And right here, we can see that our chosen benchmark for this player was girls junior. So, high school, middle school age girl, the benchmark for them is 81%. So this player is putting a little bit better than the average girl, like elite girl, from 0 to 10 feet. But we can change that, if we want to do 5 to 15 feet, we can see, okay, this player's at 40%, the benchmark's at 30%. So this is an easy way to compare how you're doing based on our population. And in this case, for junior girls, but you can change that to junior boys, college girls, college boys, whatever your skill level is. So that was putting. Let's take a quick look at approach. So you can see very similar. We have a lot of graphs. But first, we're going to show you greens in regulation, 71%. Great, because girls' junior benchmark is 63%. So this player is hitting a lot of greens. And these black lines represent where the benchmark is. So that represents that 63% is these black lines. And then this player is on the blue lines. So from 80 yards, they hit the green 100% of the time. Around 100, it's like 90% of the time, and so on. So this is a player who's, pretty good. And then greens in regulation by par. So on par 3s, par 4s, and par 5s, how often are they hitting the green? And how close are they hitting their putt? Or how close are they hitting their approach shot on the green? So in this case, we can see their distribution, and they're hitting a lot of shots to about 20 feet, which is good. And at the bottom here, we can see again what is their average versus what is the benchmark average. So 22 feet versus 20 feet. So maybe something this player can work on is hitting the ball closer to the hole, or maybe picking better targets. But this is where the stats can inform the strategy of the player. Because the player's hitting a lot of greens, but they're not hitting it close enough to the hole to be like gaining there. And then here we can see we can drag the numbers again. So if we wanted to see 75 to 100 yards, we can change that. And then boom, that's what we get. And from here, I would say, okay, it's great. You're hitting it to 10 feet a lot, but you're also hitting it outside 30 feet a lot. So maybe something to work on is that range and really tightening up that dispersion. And then the last graph shows the individual breakdown for each round. So first round, second round, third round, strokes gained. All right, and then the last stats thing I'll show through here, all of these have a similar structure, but misses is a little bit different. So misses is going to show you graphically where you're missing the ball. So on short putts, where are you missing the ball? And we can see here a lot more right than left. So maybe we should take a look at the putting stroke and be like, okay, why is it going right more than left? And then same thing here, medium putts, we see the same thing. 20% right and only 11% left. So maybe there's something going on where this player is pushing their putts to the right. So that's something we can look at. And then on long putts, it actually flips. So maybe there's something going on medium putts where the tempo is off or the stroke length is off, but we're getting that information from this graph. And then this one is showing where you're hitting it on the green when you mark that it's a miss. So when you hit the ball on the green, but you end up short or left or right, where is it ending up? So for this player, it looks like a good amount left, a good amount right, a couple short, and then a couple that are very long. So let's take a look at these long ones. The square box means it's from a tee box. So the player went very long twice from off the tee. So maybe they need to adjust their yardage when they're hitting from a tee box versus the fairway versus the rough or something like that. And then if we keep scrolling, this is showing the misses that don't hit the green. So this green part actually represents the green now. And we can see this player is pretty consistent. So this one, they miss a little bit short. This one, they miss a little long, a little short. And we get to, 160 to 180 yards. They're missing 16% left, 11% right, 11% short, 5% right and short. So that's a pretty good distribution because it's even. But what we're looking for is if it's not even and there's like a one-sided miss. So for here, 180 to 200, they're missing a third of their shots left and a third of their shots long. So maybe that's something to look at there is if they need to be picking better targets or if they don't have a club that they trust in that yardage, maybe it's a club issue or equipment issue. But we're just giving the player this information so that they can decide what they want to do with that. And then finally, we're going to show off the tee how much left, how much right, and how much in the fairway. All right, so those are all the basic stats. Now I can go into a round to show how you would actually enter the round.
Amy, I think we got only 5 minutes left here, but I think something that would be useful for this audience is the feedback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you after you put data in there, right? Now you can see where you misses, all this stuff. You analyze a past performance, all right? Now, what does your app do for the future?
Yep, exactly. So I'll show one more thing for analysis. So if we click, let's say these 3 rounds, we can show that it's only these 3 rounds now that we're looking at, and you can get all of this feedback in the app. You can also create a report. So if you click these rounds and go to report, you can generate a report. We're going to keep it on junior girls elite, but you can change it to any benchmark you want. Generate it. And you can see immediately it's generated, and you can look at all the results here. So this is going to show you right away, where are you at with putting? Where are you at with chipping? Where are you at with short approach, long approach, scoring, and your driver? And it's going to tell you with the strokes gained values where you're suffering the most. So on putting, we can see, okay, 4 to 5 feet, it's negative. 16 to 20 feet, negative. And then these two are also negative. So those are areas to work on. For chipping, huge negative in the rough, 16 to 30 yards in the rough. So that's an area we need to work on. And then over here in the chart, we can see, okay, approach is very good for this player, but chipping maybe not so much. Drives maybe not so much. And then we can see this player had a really good round second day, and then, or sorry, a really bad round second day, because we saw chipping drop and driving drop, but putting got better and approach got really good. So this one-page report is really helpful for you to figure out, okay, what do I need to work on? Then the next step, which will show you even more of what you need to work on, is going to the AI coach. The AI coach is basically going to read that report for you and tell you, hey, this is what you need to work on. And as we could see in the report, like the mid-range putts weren't that good. That 16 to 20 feet was not that good. So it recommends we work on that. Lag putts, same thing, wasn't that good. So it's recommending we work on that. And then fairway chips and pitches. So same thing. It basically read all the stats, not just from those 3 rounds, but all the stats that you've entered. And it's going to recommend 3 things to work on and tell you 1 thing that you're doing really well, just to keep up the good work. But when you see these, for example, you can click on them, and then it'll give you 3 drills to do. And then when you click on those drills, it'll open up the drill card, and it'll tell you, how to do the drill. It'll give you a picture explanation. And at the bottom, you can add a progress note. So if you complete this drill, you can write that down in the app so that you know how you did, when you did it, and just to track your progress. So that's a huge part of taking action, getting better, and actually using the feedback we give you in the app.
Very good. And the recommendation for this drill, where did it come from?
So this is our AI engine that's running every time you enter your stats. It's analyzing your stats.
But who write the recommendation of the drill? Who's come up with the drill? Different drill.
Oh, the drills are a compilation of well-known drills,
Mm.
and some of my personal favorites. So it's a lot of drills that you'll recognize. So this one, for example, it's like distance control. So it's just saying putt to where it gets past the hole, but inside a foot or inside 2 feet. And then it can be games, like you get 2 points here, 1 point there. But these are drills compiled from like all different kinds of coaches and magazines, all the golf drill hubs, basically. It's all compiled here in our drill library. But you can also add your own drills. So if there's a drill you or your coach really like, you can add it. And then Accel Golf will add it to the rotation of drills if you classify it in short putts, medium putts, long putts, approach
Yeah.
shots, drives, or
So
whatever. It'll add rotation.
so that's a good thing is that we work with many academy partners, right?
Mhm.
So in Asia, so their coach can put their own drill for their kids to do it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Good, good,
absolutely.
good. All right, sound good. All right. Well, anything else we need to know, or before we get on the
Um,
Q&A?
I think that's everything. The last I have is the prize. So, but I'll
Okay,
let you.
good. No, go ahead. So you have different package, right?
Yes.
For player to try. And I
Mhm.
would recommend you just, give it a try for at least a year, right?
Mhm.
To buy a year program. So that way you can keep that because I can share you my experience with professional golfer. I managed LPGA player about 10 years ago. So the stat like this that we have to buy from European system back then, it costs a lot of money, right? But the pain was the entering data. Once we entering data, we have to submit it, all the stuff. But this is take away of that pain, okay? And you get the instant feedback and you instant drill that you can help improve, right? Give it a try for a year and see how it go. But I certainly am confident that will help your game. This is just like almost like something that you need beside Yard Book, right? And Yardbook is not common in Asia, by the way, right? But it's very common here in US. And when you get to play in college level, you definitely need to know how to use a Yardbook because that's when you get to your next level, right? So yeah, go ahead and
Yeah, no, just I want to echo what you say. Every single good player, whether they're a junior, they're in college, or they're a pro, keeps their stats. There is no player out there who's playing at a high level, who's competing in tournaments, who does not keep their stats nowadays. It was something new a couple years ago, but now, if you want to compete, you have to be keeping your stats. And it's as simple as that. But yeah, so if you scan this QR code or you type this link in. So it's app.accel-golf.com/the agency. That will take you to create an account. And then once you're in there, you can click the subscribe button, which it might not show up. It might be on the left menu, but if not, you can go to my profile and then edit subscription. So here it says this one, the type is it's on a team, but if you edit subscription, it'll pop up with the account choices. We recommend premium yearly because premium is going to include the calendar, the drill library, the AI coach, and reports. So premium is really for good players. Basic is like if you play on the weekends. So we recommend premium yearly. And then because you're on this call, there will be a discount applied automatically when you subscribe.
okay, good. So this is the link, right? So once you click the link, you will pop up this page. So you just have to create your account first, right?
Yep. So let's see. If I click on it right now, it might not like it because I'm already logged in. Yeah. Okay. But it'll give you a message that says enjoy 10% off from the agency group. And then here's where you can create your account. And then once you're signed in, you can go to my profile, edit subscription, and then it will already have the 10% discount in there for you.
And how much does it cost for this premium program right now for a year?
So usually it's 200 a year, but with the discount, it's 180.
Okay, good. Perfect. Give it a try, and you can continue and get the discount if you like it, and you renew your subscription, you still get the same discount. All right. Okay. All right. Well, with that, guys, girls, any question for our guest speaker today? If any, open up for Q&A. Anyone, raise your hand and then I will call your name, or you can just go ahead and type in your chat room and then we can ask a question. If not, let me start the first one, Edie. All right, I got two boys, right? So they play junior golf, they play college golf, and one of them play a PGA Tour 2 weeks ago, right? And we use Decade, by the way. All right, so that was almost 10 years ago. But anyway, we kept stat, we get all this stuff. That's how we get improved. But I remember during the junior year, mostly maybe like 14 to about 17, 14 to about 17. Most of the time, the boys anyway, lost shot from the tee box, right? They drive into penalties all the time, right? So those type of common thing that they did. So how is your app recommend to help them to lower that type of penalties?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we're going to show them the actual effect it's having on their score.
Mm,
So if you
yeah.
think, okay, I hit it in the pond, it's okay, I can recover. But if we show them, hey, at the end of the round, you lost 3 shots because you hit it out of bounds or in the water, they're going to say, oh, I shot 74. I could have shot 71. So we're going to
Hmm.
show them actually what are you losing by losing these golf balls. So like what is it actually costing you? Not how do you feel about it? Do you think you can recover? Are you a good, recovery player? It's no, you lost 3 strokes. You would have shot 71 had you just kept the ball in play. And I think that's what speaks to them because it's
Hmm.
not, oh, we want you to be working on this in your swing and that in your swing. We're going to tell you right away you cost yourself 3 shots, plain and
Yeah,
simple.
for this past tournament, but you kept the score 10 months ago.
Mhm.
You have a history, right? So that's why, it's really important because me as the dad, tell them, yo, don't do it, but they don't listen because they didn't see it. But if you show them the stat like this, they understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
exactly. I'll
got it.
show you one other cool thing is if you click this and then click the round graphic, it's going to show you just what happened on that one round. So here we can see 0 strokes gained short game and 3 strokes gained long game. So this is a great round by this player for this benchmark. 3 birdies, 13 greens in regulation, 12 fairways hit. So that's a pretty solid round. And I think this is on a very long course for a junior girl, which is why 74 was a good score. Um, but if we change it to, let's say, like LPGA Tour, and we go back and we look at the exact same thing, it's going to say, okay, -2 here on short game, and you gain 1 long game, but it's going to change because you're now comparing to LPGA Tour. But this will show you immediately what happened in that round.
Mm. Okay, good, good. Oh, and this report, in terms of college recruiting,
Mhm.
can you send to coaches?
Absolutely. We recommend that you send this report to coaches because it shows that number one, the player is mature and they're intelligent. They know they have to keep their stats. They do it correctly, they do it diligently, and they're mature enough to show you these are my stats. Here's what I'm working on. So, hey, coach from school X, I played this tournament. It was 3 days, and I noticed that my chipping dropped a lot on day 2. So, for the next week, I'm really focusing on my chipping. And if a college coach can hear that, like, wow, this player is very impressive. If they can say that to a coach and share this information, that's really impressive. And that's the feedback I've gotten from players and coaches. So players send these reports to coaches and coaches write back to the players saying, wow, this is really impressive. This is, very neat, very organized. You're working on things, not just on an emotional basis. Like, oh, I felt like I played bad, so I'm working on this. It's like, no, I played. This report is saying I need to work on my chipping, so I'm going to work on my chipping.
Okay, good, 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 good. All right. So that will help you a lot when you talk to coaches because they see, not most of the time people send a TrackMan stat, right? Or, all this stuff. But this thing is, all right, this is my game. I know where my game is and how I can take my game to the next level before I get to you. Right.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, Amy, well, thank you very much for your information today and think that will help a lot of people in the audience today to get help get better and hopefully get recruited to the college they want to go to. Okay. Well, thanks again for
absolutely.
today. And then I text my information in the chat room. If you need anything, just contact us. Right. And then I will be sending you a discount code and the link that Ms. Amy mentioned to everybody again. So this is have a explanation. You have to sign up within the week in order to get 10% discount, right? And because this is the reason why we want you to use this summer. Okay, this is a big summer coming up. This is almost the last week of May already. And Memorial Day is coming this Monday. We all know that after Memorial Day is summer start, right? And then the end of summer is Labor Day. Okay. So your next 3 months is the key. I know many of you are coming here in US to compete. Please try to use this, and then you will see the big difference after 3 months, right? That's what something that we want to see. That I'm pretty sure the reason why you develop this program to see kids get better. Okay, and the parents don't have to have those type of conversation with their children in the car after the round. Where is subjective, now the tangible, something that you can hold on. All right, well, thank you everybody. Good night. To be here with us for an hour. I know it's late in Asia now. Thank you again, and good night everybody. Thank you. Thank Amy.